For more on the deposition of President Trump and also the raid, we'll turn to Professor Emeritus of Harvard Law School, author of The Price of Principle, Why Integrity is Worth the Consequences, also a Newsmax analyst. That's Professor Alan Dershowitz. Professor, good to see you, and thank you so much for coming on. This has kind of been almost an in-circle talk in regards to this story, basically because there's not a lot of information in terms of the Department of Justice and exactly what they're looking for, what they found, how serious this is. Talk to me about that. As we learn here, the NBC News reporting that the attorneys for President Trump have declined to release the search warrant. Again, that to NBC News. But also that the magistrate judge, Bruce Reinhart, actually gave the Justice Department till 5 p.m. August 15th to release these records because they were requested. So my question to you is this: what could be on this search warrant that so many people want to see?
Well, I think the American public have the right to see it. And I think President Trump should waive any secrecy rights, should have his lawyer examine it first, and then the American public should see it. Let's see what they were going after. Let's see if there was a justification. Let's see why they didn't use a subpoena. In the normal course of events, you use a subpoena unless there's a fear that the evidence will be destroyed. You know, Trump was 1,000 miles away. The boxes were stored in the basement and closed. I don't think that they would have alleged in their affidavit that they have a legitimate fear of the material being destroyed. I think the reason why they went by search warrant rather than subpoena is twofold. Number one, they didn't want Trump to invoke his Fifth Amendment right not to produce. There's what's called production Fifth Amendment. If you produce it, then you admit you had it. And they would have had to give him immunity for that, much like what's going on in New York today with invoking the Fifth Amendment. And second, a search gives you much more latitude to go into his wife's closet, to look around, to rummage, to seize anything in plain sight in addition to the 12 boxes. So I think we need to know a lot more. I think the Justice Department should have a press conference in which good reporters like you could ask hard questions. Now, maybe in order to do that, the former President Trump has to willingly give up any right of privacy, and I think that would be a trade-off worth doing.
Yeah, and just to at least see the documentation, if you don't want to do that press briefing, allow the press to look over these documents, if you will, because, sure. And to get your comment on this, there are many on several different outlets and many reporting in the media that the DOJ and the FBI, they're all in, so to speak, on this. If they don't have something of significance, this could tarnish the already, what some would say, tarnished reputation of the DOJ and the FBI, no?
Well, I think they probably have probable cause for searching for classified material. I'm not sure, but it seems like that. But what they don't have is probable cause to rummage through materials to try to find evidence of January 6th, which is, I suspect, what they're looking for. Let's remember, too, that never before in history has a search been conducted for this kind of a violation. In the Sandy Berger case, where he put classified material in his socks, and Sandy was a friend of mine, I liked him very much, and the Hillary Clinton case, where she's wearing a hat now, saying, but her emails. Those are apt comparisons, and we have to ask, and the Justice Department should be asked, why did you not apply the same standards to former President Trump as you did to former Secretary and former National Security advisors who were Democrats? That's the hard question.
Yeah, a lot comes out of this. Again, just to point out, you could find something out August 15th. Again, that's when Judge Reinhart gave the Justice Department to respond to a request to release these records by 5 p.m. So we'll watch for that.
But also,
go ahead.
The Amendment. I'm surprised that Trump invoked the Fifth Amendment because generally you can give him immunity and then make him talk. And basically, this is a public issue. So I'm not sure. His lawyers may have had a good reason for invoking the Fifth. I don't understand it. In almost 60 years of practice, I never invoked the Fifth Amendment on behalf of my clients, particularly clients, obviously, who have nothing to hide. So it was a surprise to me. Maybe there's a good reason for it, but I don't understand it as an experienced criminal.
Many point that testimony could have been used in a criminal suit versus the civil probe that he's going through. Could that be it?
It could be it. The motion I would have made is I would have refused to answer on the ground that Letitia James ran for office on the campaign promise to get Trump. and that should recuse her and disqualify her. And no person should have to answer questions from somebody who, even before they got into office, swore to get the person. That doesn't seem like fair justice, and that would have been a more aggressive and I think more publicly acceptable privilege claim or claim of why they didn't want to answer the question than the Fifth Amendment. But he has good lawyers, and his lawyers may have good reasons that I'm not aware of and you're not aware of.
We'll continue to follow it. Professor Alan Dershowitz joining us live. They're always good to see you, Alan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
JP Morgan's CEO is warning that an economic hurricane is coming. Are you preparing? If you don't do anything, your 401k could be a 201k, and that is not good. So call our trusted friends at Lear Capital. For 25 years, Lear has helped investors own gold to protect against market chaos. It's a good thing. They can help you too. Get your information and up to $15,000 in bonus IRA gold. Just call this number, 800-880-4300. That's 800-880-4300.